Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. We're having a Q&A. I asked for some questions on Instagram. I hope the lighting's okay. I have the Digi Osmo pocket camera, so I can't see much, but I don't know where my lights are. You might notice this is a slightly different background. In fact, it's an entirely different background to last time. We have moved house, and it's actually surprising how you just can't unpack an unfurnished house. What am I unpacking into? Because we have no furniture. And also trying to do that with a baby is like, yeah, crazy. So there's a lot. Like, I would love to do a house tour, and I will at some point, but I'm not even being funny. Last week we finally got a wardrobe, but that only houses like a third of my clothes. So life has just been very chaotic recently. If you can hear Athena, I think she might nap soon maybe. Or if this video stops and starts, that's just the nature of me having a baby. It's been something. But anyway, let's just get straight into the video. If I suddenly stop, it's because my food shop has arrived. First question, how come you've moved to Sheffield? Okay, so if you didn't know, we've recently, literally a few weeks ago, moved from Liverpool to Sheffield. The main reason, I guess, for that, the short answer to that is Athena. But the long story is I initially moved to Sheffield when I was about 19, and then I went to drama school, and since then I've lived in like Wigan, Manchester, Carlisle, the Midlands, Liverpool, and now I'm back in Sheffield. So it's crazy because I left 10 years ago. We won't be here for years and years, but it's a good place for right now, and I do love a lot about Sheffield. Yeah, the main reason for that is so me and Feisal didn't want to leave Liverpool. We love Liverpool. Athena loves Liverpool. Athena's a Scouser. She's an honorary Scouse because she was born there. But yeah, we didn't want to leave Liverpool. We kind of just like, we had to really, well, we didn't have to, but being a parent in a city where you have no family near you is doable, but it's not. I guess it would be, I think if Feisal didn't tour then, and I had like a stable job as well, I think we would just stay there. But like if Feisal was on a 9 to 5, we'd probably stay in Liverpool, but he goes away for months at a time, weeks or months at a time, and it's just going to be so much easier living near family because then I have that support network and I have that village. Not that I don't have a village in Liverpool, it's just that family and friends. How do I explain this? We have obviously the band and we have our friends in Liverpool. We have amazing friends in Liverpool, and I know that they would do anything for me, anything for Athena, anything for Feisal, but it is just different being close to family. I know that I don't know, I never want to be a burden, and I know Feisal's the same, and I don't mind calling my mum and being like, can you please just come around for a few hours to help? Maybe it'd be a bit different if my network of friends were parents, but what was I saying? And we were tossing up between the areas in the UK where we have family. We don't want to live in the UK, we don't want to settle in the UK. This is just like a for now kind of situation, to which our family is so aware of. But yeah, so I was initially looking at houses and apartments to rent in Cardiff. That was the first place I was looking because Feisal's immediate family are there. And the price, what is going on with Cardiff rent? Anywhere that was like semi-affordable was disgusting, and I don't want to move my whole life hours and hours and hours away to live somewhere that I hate. I've done that before and it's not fun. Yeah, the price for anything that we need is extortionate. Like, we can't live in a 1-bedroom apartment. We've come from a 2-bedroom apartment. It was just too small because Feisal needs a studio room because that's where he works most of the time. So we need at least a 3-bedroom place, and now we've got a daughter, and what we were looking at, I just couldn't find anywhere, or I'd find somewhere semi-reasonable, but it was outside of Cardiff. It was like in the middle of nowhere, which, don't get me wrong, I love living in the middle of nowhere, but I personally would feel a bit too isolated, like moving somewhere. I've got friends, and obviously Feisal's family and my family there, and it's not that far from where I grew up, which is like Warwickshire. It's not far at all, like a couple of hours away, but we couldn't find anything very nice, or it was too far away. And it would be, and I don't drive yet, so it'd be like living in the middle of nowhere for me with like no way route, maybe like walking 1.5 miles to maybe a bus stop, and I just couldn't do that. So unfortunately we were like, we can't really find anywhere decent. What was I saying? And then so I was like, okay, well, we don't want to move to Warwickshire where like I'm originally from, where my dad and everyone is, because there's nothing really, there's so much there obviously, but for our jobs and our careers it would just be a nightmare. I think we'd feel quite isolated there. So then I was like, okay, well, let's look at places in Sheffield, and we were like, this was literally a year ago, we were looking at places in Sheffield, and we were like, the rent is so much cheaper, the houses are nice, even the apartments were nice, and we were like, it kind of has to be and it was purely like, the deciding factor was the quality of the homes and the price of rent and stuff. It just, I swear a few years ago when I was looking at Cardiff, it wasn't as bad as it is now. I don't know what people there are thinking, but like, because we have a family, we can't have an apartment in the city centre because it's just not big enough. And also as well, another massive part of that is the band is still currently based in Liverpool, so Feisal needs to be in an easy commuting distance to Liverpool, and it's easy to get there. And also most of my work is in Manchester, so I didn't want to move to Cardiff and then have to commute to Manchester for like a little day's work. That like journey, which is what, like an 8-hour 9-hour round trip for a whole day. Like it just happened that Sheffield was a place, and my mum's here, my sisters are here, my friends from work when I used to work here, they are all mums now. Well, nearly all of them are mums now, so it's nice as well that I'm gonna have that like mum community that I didn't have in Liverpool. My mum is probably the family member who spent the most time with Athena because she was there after my C-section for the first few weeks as well, so they have that bond, so it's obviously easier. Any key advice or tips from mums to be or mums planning to be? I could do a whole entire video on this, so if you do want that, please let me know. I mean, I'm no expert, I've only been doing this for like 5.5 months. But the one thing I will say is don't ever be afraid to ask for help or ask questions or ask for advice, because mums generally, I know there's some like judgy, horrible mums out there, but on the whole, from my personal experience, mums just want to help. They just want to help, especially being pregnant. I found the amount of people who I like went to school with, or people I don't even know, or message requests like giving advice was so nice, and people do want to help. And I get it now that I'm a mum, and if I see anybody pregnant, or I see a new mum or a mum, like I want to be there. And I don't know what this instinct is. It's like, it's this motherly, I just want to be there for every mum. My second tip, and this is, if you take anything from this or me to do with motherhood or anything, please, and I'm begging, please do your research on tongue tie. Please, because if I'm being brutally honest, the start of motherhood for me was probably one of the worst times of my entire life. Not the day she was born, not the couple of days after, but the first couple of weeks when my daughter was born. I can't think about it, and I can't really speak about it. I want to do a video and I want to do content about tongue tie, but it's that traumatic for me. I can't go there, and that's not like me. I will always speak about anything traumatic, anything. Like, if you've seen my videos before, you know me, I will speak about anything, but that I can't go there yet. And I want therapy for it, or holistic grows in the ground therapy, if you know what I mean. I need some of those. And it's mad because, yeah, I will talk about it in a different video, but please do your research on tongue tie. If you are told that your baby has tongue tie, if you have a baby, please, if you can, beg, borrow and steal the money to go and have a private appointment and get it snipped off. Some hospitals might just snip it straight away, some don't. I was on the emergency, like severe list for tongue tie because my daughter lost so much weight, even though I was feeding her every half an hour, to the point where I had pussy blisters on my nips. Yeah, that's like not even half of it. And we were rushed into hospital. I was told that you've got to go to a hospital now. She's lost that much weight. Like, it's scary. And like that, when you're like 3-4 days postpartum, is horrendous. And nobody understands it unless you've been through it. Or, but why have we got a husband? Why has she got this? But why? And everyone, like friends, family, everyone, but why? And when you're in that postpartum, like, especially if you've had like, I don't know, a C-section, you've been cut open and you're in agony with a C-section, you can't poo because you can't push the poo because you've got no muscles because they've all been like sliced open, and you're feeding your baby every half an hour, like breastfeeding every half an hour, trying to get your babies, and everyone's like, but why? Honestly, hell, I cannot. Literally the worst time of my entire life. Absolutely horrendous. And it sounds like I'm exaggerating it, or it doesn't sound that bad, but I'm sure there are people that can relate, and it is, I will do a whole video on it because I feel like people want to understand. And I know when people are like, but why, they just want to know. But when you're in that post-hormonal new mum state, I wanted to tell everybody in my life to fuck off. It was awful. But yeah, do your own research on tongue tie and the severities of it and how it can ruin your motherhood experience at the start, because that's what it did for me. Everybody around me was really enjoying like having this like new baby and stuff, and I was having the absolute worst time of my entire life. I'm not exaggerating, so I don't want to scare anyone. I think our appointment was maybe 150 or 180 pounds. I'm not sure how much it was. It is very expensive. Your hospital may do it, but even if you're told you're on the waiting list for an appointment, you'll get it in a few days or whatever, please just don't believe that. Please, I don't want anyone to go through what I did. Download the Peanut app. Shall I show you on my personal phone? Peanut is great. I found it really useful in pregnancy, just offloading and getting advice from people. Yeah, it's basically an app for mums or mums to be. Can you see that? Prepare for a body image crisis. You might not have a body image crisis, but I certainly did. When I was pregnant, I loved my body. I felt beautiful. Well, I felt disgusting, but like I felt I loved my body when I was pregnant. I really just enjoyed dressing the bump. I thought it was so much fun. As soon as the baby was born, and I realised that that 20 kilograms I gained in pregnancy didn't just go automatically. That was tough. That was tough. The body imaging is crazy. So if you can, I would maybe like get some Pinterest boards together of like postpartum style, postpartum outfits, and look at what people are wearing postpartum. I'm not gonna lie, for me, it's basically just anything baggy. Like I'm wearing the same 2 pairs of jeans on rotation all the time, or joggers. Massive jumpers, massive hoodies, massive t-shirts. Yeah, I think preparing like a maybe little postpartum wardrobe, that's something that I never got around to doing, and that's the only thing I would have done if I were to do it differently, is have a little section in my wardrobe for like postpartum. And it's basically, it sounds awful, but it's like basically things to hide your body. But then also if you have a C-section or whatever, like you might have, it's painful, you don't want anything like rubbing on it. I think I wore jeans maybe like 6 weeks after. Practice a super quick getting ready routine. So when I was pregnant, I would practice getting ready as quickly as possible. As quickly as possible. When you're pregnant, you're out of breath, so like even brushing your teeth takes 10 years. But I like mastered my like 5-minute makeup routine, and that was so helpful. I also did get eyelash extensions for a bit, and that really helped because I'd wake up and all I'd have to put on is like skin tint and a bit of blusher, and my eyelashes were done, and I felt like I didn't look as tired as I was basically. Lose yourself to it. I just totally was like that. I held my hands up and I was like, I'm just gonna embrace whatever comes my way and just accept it. Also, another thing that I when I was pregnant, I prepared for was like the feeding situation. I did breastfeed. I exclusively breastfed until I physically couldn't, because I had blisters on like my nipples and I physically just couldn't, and then I was expressing a formula feeding and whatever. But yeah, I said to Feisal when I was pregnant, I was like, oh, obviously my aim is to breastfeed, but I might not be able to. For whatever reason, I might not be able to, might have to formula feed. And then I started looking into what kind of formula I'd want to get, and I got bottles and sterilizers, and well, my mum got those for me, but bless her. I prepared for either situation. And I think in my head I was like, well, I want to kind of combi feed anyway, maybe if I had a choice, like just so that I have that freedom. But I was like, it might not happen, it might not. And that's a big bit of advice I'd give, is don't get so bogged down in like having to exclusively breastfeed, because it might not work that way. It might do, and if it does, great, but also might not happen. And fed is best. I know some mums get on their high horse, like the mums that are on their high horse because they exclusively breastfed. It's so funny because I'm like, you just obviously like haven't been in a traumatic position where you can't. And I just think those women are vile. I don't want anything to do with anyone who thinks they're on their high horse because they can breastfeed. Like, that's great that it's easy for you and you can do that. Not it's easy because it's exhausting and you can't wear certain clothes, and you're having to like rub cream on, and the bras are different, and like when you're blah blah, when you're expressing blah blah blah. But like, never be on your high horse, because you could be on your high horse giving someone crap for formula feeding. What if they've had a big illness and that's why they can't? You know? Don't compare yourself to any other mums or like high horse mums. Like, don't compare yourself. You know what's best for you, and you know what's best for your baby. She's asleep. Wait, this is great. She doesn't normally nap. She has like 2 20-minute naps a day, so maybe this is one of them. This next question is, was it harder with your husband being on tour whilst you were pregnant or after you had Athena? Mine's on tour at the minute and I don't know how I'll cope when the baby's born. First of all, congratulations! That's a really interesting question. It's a good question. I would say personally, I found it harder when I was pregnant for a couple of reasons. First time he went on tour when I was pregnant was in the first trimester when no one knew. Hello? Oh, gorgeous. Touch, you're so sweet. What was I saying? The first tour he went on was when I was in my first trimester. No one knew. That was grim. That was absolutely grim, because I had like, I wasn't in hospital with HG. I was like almost there, so I would never say I had HG, but I was very, very close. I think it got to the point where we were almost having to ring 111 and be like, this is ridiculous. I lost a stone, did I? In the first trimester? Anyway, so nobody knew. I didn't want to tell anyone because it was in the first couple of weeks of finding out, and all my family work full time, so I think my mum managed to come around one weekend and my dad managed to come one weekend. Nobody else managed to be able to make it over to me, so I was like basically just stuck in my apartment. It was awful. I couldn't cook for myself. I couldn't walk. I couldn't even walk to the shop. It was that bad. I was living on Tampastics. I think for almost a week, all I ate was maybe a bit of bread. And I know I probably should have just told a friend, but when you're in that, it's such a scary time and nerve-wracking time. Feisal was away a lot of my pregnancy. I think for like most of my pregnancy he was away working, and which is fine because he had to work. But I did find it really hard, especially towards the end. I did have family coming up. At one point I just went my dad picked me up and I just stayed at his, and that was in the second trimester, so that was okay because I was able to like get the train to work and stuff like that, so I was doing that. I think he has been away like 10 times since she's been born. Like he's had a couple of weeks here, a couple of weeks there, a week here, a day there, whatever. So he has been away quite a lot. He's been away quite a bit when we lived in Liverpool, so it was just me and Athena, and obviously I had friends and stuff, and I don't know, I found it so much easier when Athena was born, which you wouldn't think that. I don't know how it's gonna go now because he's going away to America for a while next month, I think, but we've moved now. I think I find it difficult if I was still in Liverpool and I didn't have any family there, because I'd just be relying on my friends and I don't want to put that on them. But now that I'm in Sheffield and my family around the corner, I think it's going to be a lot easier. But yeah, if I'm being honest, when you have your baby, like the baby's there, you've got them, like all of the pregnancies out of the way, you've got the baby, and you just have this, like, you have these instincts, so you just know what to do. And I think it's so much easier when you've got the baby to, like, I don't know, ask a friend or a family member to be like, oh, would you like come over and keep you company or help or come for a sleepover? But when you're pregnant, it's like, I need help, but it's just, I don't know, I found it harder asking for help just being pregnant, just because I was just too tired to clean. I will post more about that, I think, when it happens, when he's away for a while, because obviously he's going to miss milestones. Like, he might miss her crawling, he might miss her walking, saying her first word, all these things. So I don't know how that's going to be, and I don't know how she's going to find it missing him for so long. Are you grieving your life before you had a baby? So far, no. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved being able to just sit and have a coffee. I mean, I'm literally sitting having a coffee now, but it's just sod's law that when you really just need, like, even just like a crumpet, you won't be having a crumpet. I miss my body, I miss what my body was, but I have a completely different body now, so that I'm learning that as it changes. Hi! Can I have a kiss? Oh, thank you. You're so cute. I think the reason I'm not missing it is because I waited until I was 100% sure whether or not I wanted to have kids. I do feel like a ginger cat is halfway there to having an actual human. Yeah, I waited until I was like 100% ready. Me and Feisal, we both felt the same. Yeah, it's basically just the body that I'm missing, but I don't miss the life. I love what she's done for me in the selfish sense of that I just don't care about things anymore. Things that used to be so important to me and be all and end all for me, like my career, the way I look, my social life, all of those things were like everything to me. And now I have her, I'm like, actually it's not really that important. Like, as long as I'm happy and she's happy, who cares? I miss the free time. And also I think that there's this like notion or societal notion that if a mum moans about being a mum at all, like she's ungrateful, she doesn't deserve to be a mum, why did you have kids then? Why did you have kids then? And it's like, oh my god, like grow up, ew, go away. I think it's fine for us mums to say we miss our body and we miss having free time and we miss just being able to just go and do things. Like, yeah, everything I want to go and do, I have to check with Feisal first. Not that I have to ask his permission, but for me, and I put this on myself, but his work and what he needs to do comes first, because I'm on maternity. He's the provider at the minute. I need him to do whatever he wants and needs to do. So everything, like going to get my nails done, like I have to say, oh Feisal, there's an appointment tomorrow at 2 for my nails, please can I go and get it done? No, so obviously like that admin is mad. The fact that I'm behind on everything all the time, it's not like I don't miss being able to be caught up with all my life admin, it's just that everything takes so much longer. So I miss not having to explain myself why my invoice is half an hour late, but I don't miss it, no. How is Terps with your baby? Oh my god, he loves it. At first, we've actually got a video on my phone of like the moment they met. At first he was really cautious, he didn't quite know what it was. Now they just chilled together and he's not really that bothered by her. Like, she's always flinging her arms and legs around and he's a little bit like, oh, what's going on? But I just don't think he really cares. He doesn't play with her toys, he leaves her toys completely alone. He's not bothered. He jumps around the cot, like if she's not in the cot, he'll like jump by it sometimes, or once or twice he's like gone to jump in the Moses basket, realised that she's there and he's like jumped out again. So yeah, we never, especially in the early stages, we would never leave them alone together, maybe for like a second or two if I was walking from one room to another, but we were on an apartment on one floor, so it was fine. Now that we're in a house on 4 floors, I've actually not even realised, because like sometimes she's on the bed whilst I like go and do something quickly, and he could be on the bed. Like earlier they were just like chilling together on their own. Yeah, at night time he's now in the same room. Since she was about, I'd say like 6 weeks old, he was sleeping in bed with us, because Terts loves to sleep on the bed with us. He's a house cat, so I know he's clean, and he's in bed with us. And it was really, really hard at first because we had to shut him out just for safety reasons, but I think one nap time he was with us, and ever since then we've like allowed them to spend more and more time together, and he's just not bothered. So he never really bothers her, really. He's not that bothered. I know that it's going to be different when she's crawling and walking and like pulling his tail in. So I know when she's active and mobile and walking, I won't be able to leave them together. I know that, but like for now, when she's like barely rolling over, I know that she's fine. But yeah, she's always staring at him and he's always staring at her, and they're just staring at each other. And I just hope it's with love. I know he's probably like waiting for her to do something, but yeah, I feel really lucky, because I know that's not the case for everybody, and I know how heartbreaking it has been for people that I know who have had to rehome or part ways with their fur baby, and I can't even begin to imagine how traumatic that must be. I had a few that are saying like, why don't people really talk about being postpartum? And I found that I'm not postpartum anymore. I'm like 5 months into it. I'm with you. I fully agree. In my postpartum stage, I was like, there's a few TikToks, but like people aren't really talking about it. And the magnitude of what a woman goes through after a baby is born is so monumental, and there's just not really that much out there. The light on that topic is so dim, in my opinion. Other people might not feel the same, but I think it's because it's so huge physically and mentally that you can't really put it into words, and you're kind of just in fight or flight mode. I think maybe a lot of fathers feel that way as well, which is why a lot of fathers don't really talk about the postpartum stage, because they're just in this like whole other kind of thing. I know they've not gone through anything physically, but mentally it's weird to like, and massive to see your partner go through what they go through, and then this baby just arrives out of like nowhere seemingly. You see her legs. She's so... I think it's because it is just so massive that when you're in it, and then by the time you're out of it, you're so busy catching up on everything that you'd missed in the postpartum stage that you don't really want to go back there. And if I'm like, I know personally, I've done a few TikToks or whatever, but I would find it really hard talking about the postpartum stage because of what I went through. So I think that's why it is. It's just because it's just so huge. It does need to be talked about more, because I just don't feel like the weight of it is talked about enough, or like how huge it is for people, because you just have to crack on, and all you see on social media is like, and I'm obviously guilty of this as well, as like cute photos or like family photos, like first family photos together. You don't know like how much it took to even just get that 1 second of joy captured on a camera, and it's a crazy time. But there are obviously podcasts like Happy Mum, Happy Baby. I know that's really good for talking about it. It does need to be talked about more. I think that's why. I think it's just because it's so huge that it's too traumatic. I don't know. What's the one thing that's easier than you'd imagine, and one thing that's harder? Something that's easier for me that I thought wouldn't be as easy is I don't really have mum guilt as such. I do for certain things, but I don't have any guilt for leaving her to go and do something for myself. And I think it's because I don't do it that much, but like I had my first night out when she was about 6 weeks old. I got the train to Sheffield from Liverpool, and I just went nuts for a night and then came back the next day. And when I was on the train and I left, I cried my eyes out. It just felt, I don't know, I've just felt really vulnerable, and it felt really weird, especially because you've only literally just done the first round of healing from your C-section. So I was just like, it was just weird. But I'm glad I did that. Then me and Feisal, like a week or so after that, celebrated our anniversary in a hotel. We went away for the night. I've been for like bottomless brunch. I've been getting my eyelash done, going shopping, going to coffee dates and stuff like that without her. So I do things without her, and I just don't feel guilty for it. If I leave her with her father to go and do something, I don't know, I'm not going to feel guilty because she's with her dad. She's fine. So yeah, I thought I would have this guilt because everyone talks about mum guilt, like, oh God, I feel like I can't go and do anything without her. I don't feel that, and I'm really lucky that I don't feel like that. I think it's because I grew up with, so my mum was the same. My mum, not when we were like really young, but like as we got older, I would see my mum getting dressed up, going on a night out with her friends or whatever, and I was like, yeah mum, like you go girl, and I'd be like, mum, you look great, like taking a photo of her and stuff. And I think it's because I've grown up with a mum who, she's classic Libra. She was so good at balancing, like when we got older, not when we were like super young, so her whole entire like existence was like just like us, and it still is, but it was nice as we got older seeing her doing stuff for herself but also doing everything for us, and I like that balance, and I thought she did that really well. And I'm gonna be like that. I'm obviously living my life for her, but she's not every single aspect of me. She's me, she's a part of me, my whole world revolves around her, but I am also Eleanor. I'm her mum, but I'm Eleanor, and I don't want I don't want to be too attached to her, because I don't think that's healthy for me, that's not healthy for her. I don't want her to develop like attachment or detachment issues. I don't want like my whole like confidence to revolve around her. I don't want to be like, I can only do anything if she's there. I don't think it's good for her. And I've never been like that. Ever since she was born, I've been perfectly happy with her being held by someone else, me leaving to go on a night out or whatever, and like other people getting to know her. She's met so many different people, because that's a life that me and Feisal lead. We have so many different family members in different places, different friends in different places, our jobs. We have like our friendship groups, but then we have our job friends, and there's a lot of chaos and there's a lot of people coming and going. Like, I'll see someone for an hour, then I won't see them for another 5 years, but we're good friends, and our lives are like that. And I needed her to be embraced in that. And I know all babies are different, but I'm really, really lucky that she doesn't seem to care if I've gone away for a bit. I come back and she's smiling, but she doesn't cry when I leave. I know that might change when she's older, but as it stands now, I don't have mum guilt, and that's something that I thought I would find hard. Something that I've found harder, the whole trauma of the tongue tie, I found really hard, and no one understanding it apart from my mum and her father, who were there for it, understanding it. That was really hard. Hello, gorgeous. Are you in or are you out? You're in, yes. Oh, hi, gorgeous. Whenever I'm doing something, I turn around and Athena's like managed to pick up a toy, and I don't know how she's picked it up, but it's just so funny. Come on then. Do you want more? Yes, I would love to have 3, because I have more than 2 sisters, but biologically from my mum and dad, there's 3 of us. And I love having 2 sisters. I think it's the best thing ever, but I don't think I could do another 2 pregnancies. I don't think I have another 2 pregnancies worth of in me. I hated being pregnant. I know how lucky I am, by the way, and how grateful I am and everything, but I really didn't enjoy being pregnant. Who knows, ask me in a few years, but I definitely want another one, and I would love another one soon, but I don't want another one soon. Does that make sense? Like, I'd love to just... What were your other name ideas? It was only ever going to be Athena. When I went to Athens when I was 17 or 18, and I fell in love with Greece and ancient Greece and everything around it, and what my main interest and loves, like the philosophy, the theatre and all that kind of things, like so much of my interest in life I owe to Greece. And I've always loved the name Athena since then, and in my head I always knew my firstborn baby would be a girl. If I was to ever have a baby, I always knew it would be a girl. I knew it would be Athena. I knew it was her. I've always known her, so it was only ever Athena. I don't want to share other names in case, I ever have another girl. I'm not pregnant, by the way. I don't want anyone to think that's like some cryptic clue. I'm absolutely not. I've not lost all my weight yet, so I certainly don't want one when I've not lost my weight. I love season names. I love autumn, gorgeous name. Summer, gorgeous name. Winter, I think that's a gorgeous name. I also love names of flowers, like lavender. I think that's a gorgeous name. Violet, lilac, rose. Yeah, names of colours and seasons and flowers I think are so gorgeous. My great nan's dog's name was Petal. I've always thought that was so cute, like Petal. I think that's a really cute name. Boys' names are always something I've struggled with. We have a boy's name that Feisal's chosen. If we do have a son, that's what we will call him. But I've never, ever in my life, I've never thought of boys' names. Like, I can't imagine it. Like, I don't know. I know what we would call him if we were to have a boy. Maybe I'm destined to be a girl mum, I don't know. How has being a mum affected your relationship? The one thing I'll say for that is, like, I'm not, by the way, if you can see me doing this, I'm just stroking my cat. I've been expecting you. Communication is key. Obviously it has affected our relationship in the sense that we are just totally different people, but we've become different people together, so it doesn't feel like... So sorry, darling, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Oh, I'm sorry. I think one thing that Feisal... One thing that Feisal did while I was pregnant is he started mentally preparing himself for what my hormones might be like. So when it all happened and all my hormones were everywhere, he'd prepared for it mentally. So he was just like this. He's like, whatever, like just let it out, scream and shout, let it out. I didn't bottle anything up. I said exactly how I was feeling, and I was really honest with him, and I said, I'm upset, but you can't fix it. And for anyone in their masculine energy or a man to be told that you can't fix something when there's a problem there feels really alien. Like, I know for Feisal, he just always wants to fix things. Any problem I have ever, or anyone has, he just wants to fix it. And I think, like, the only time we had any friction was like him just desperately wanting to fix it for me, but me there not being a solution. And he's like, but I can find a solution. And I'd have to be like, in more way, like, yeah, I'd have to be like, you can't fix it. Like, I'm just really struggling today, but you can't fix it because there's nothing to fix. It's just how I'm feeling. It's the hormones. So yeah, I think, like, trying to mentally prepare for the hormones, and if you are not the one that's had the baby, knowing that sometimes there might be a problem and you probably might not be able to fix it. Looks like Athena's joining us. Knowing that you are going to have arguments, you are going to have, like, conversations, you are going to feel maybe alone for a minute or two, or you are going to get frustrated. All these things are normal. If you have a roommate phase or whatever, it's so normal, and everything is a phase. Like, if you're really finding it hard postpartum, you have to understand each other's situations. Like, I know the sleep deprivation, it was really difficult for Feisal. The sleep deprivation was particularly difficult for him. I know for me, I didn't struggle with it. Obviously, I was absolutely exhausted. I was on like half an hour sleep a night, but I dealt with it a lot better than Feisal because I'd spent my whole pregnancy not sleeping. I didn't sleep all pregnancy, so I was like, well, half an hour for me is like a full night's sleep. But he hadn't had that because A, he'd not been the one that was pregnant, and he also needs more sleep than me. So I was having to remember that if he was forgetful, or if he wasn't sharp enough, or if he was like dilly-dallying or whatever, I then had to remember, put myself in his shoes and think, this man is so exhausted. Everything's new for him. He's thinking about his career because he didn't have a break from his job. Like, I know he wasn't on tour, but he was still having to work and do stuff. So, and his job is not where he clocks in and knows what he's doing every day. When it's a job that isn't like a set in stone 9 to 5 routine job, you've got to like try and get in a flow and then work. And how can you get in a flow of anything creative when you're that exhausted? Yeah, I was like constantly reminding myself, like, he's trying his best. Then he was just amazing in terms of like letting me just scream and shout and let it all out. If you're like frustrated, like, that's one thing. Like, 'cause he was so tired he'd forget stuff, but nothing was ever intentional. It was like, okay, I'm trying to look after you, I'm trying to look after the baby, I'm trying to look after providing and blah 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 blah. And then I'd be like, yeah, no, I get it. Understanding and understand each other. I feel if you and your partner are finding things difficult, write letters to each other or voice note it. Try and get a babysitter and just go for a walk or go for a meal or whatever. And that's what we would do. My mum would come look after Athena or whatever, and we would go out. Hello. But I guess I just love him even more because I'm seeing like how much of an amazing bub he is, and I'm like, that's really attractive. Pregnancy sleep versus newborn sleep. Oh my gosh, for me, newborn sleep is so much easier. Newborn sleep is so much easier. When I was pregnant and I was getting that half an hour of sleep, that half an hour sleep wasn't good sleep because I had this massive bump in this baby who wouldn't stop kicking. When I had Athena, if I had half an hour sleep, that was half an hour sleep. And the best part is that when you have the baby, you can have coffee. I had coffee when I was pregnant, but like you can have a bit more. Obviously, if you're breastfeeding, it's a little bit different. But I was thriving on like, and sometimes I'd have like 1 hour sleep a night or 2 hours sleep a night, and that was actual sleep. It was actual sleep. Oh, it was great. It was exhausting. It was horrible, but it was so much easier than being pregnant and trying to go to sleep. Because at least when you don't have the baby, there are different positions you can sleep in. Different if you have a C-section. When I had my C-section, I couldn't lie flat for a couple of months, actually. It was too painful. Interesting. She's sighing. She's like, Mum, shut up. Have your friendships... Sorry, I'm whizzing through this because I'm aware that I've been filming for so long. Have your friendships changed? Everyone wants me now, but did it give an F while I was pregnant? Have my friendships changed? Yes and no. I feel like my friendships are better now that I've got a baby, and it's not because they're bothered about... They are bothered about Athena, but like they don't want to see me because they want to see Athena, because half the time when I see my friends, Athena's not there. He must be so orange for her. Yeah, with me personally, most of my friends don't have conventional jobs, so I don't have a tight-knit group of friends where we see each other all the time. I have loads of different friends in different areas of the world in different jobs. So my friends, if I'm lucky, I'll see them 2 times a year. I've got friends that I absolutely love and I think about all the time, that I've not seen for like 3 years. I feel like I'm really lucky because I already have low maintenance friends and all my friendships are low maintenance. Have being pregnant and having a baby, nobody expects anything from me, really, and I don't really expect things from other people. But then in the same vein, I know I could message or call any one of my friends, and if I said to them, I really need help, can you help me? They'd all be like, yeah, and vice versa. That's why I love having low maintenance friendships. Like, there's no pressure, but if you need them, they're there. That's what all of my friendships are for me, and it's a relatively new thing for me because most of my life I've definitely been in high maintenance friendship groups, and I loved it. Growing up, having high maintenance friendship groups was amazing. Like, I loved it. Yes, it could get bitchy, and yes, the FOMO was real if you couldn't make something, but now it's so easy. Like, I think I've got next Wednesday free. I'll be like, which one of my friends shall I ask and see if they're free and to meet up? My family values are very traditional, and family's everything to me, but in terms of friends and like friendships, for me, I'm very, very laid back with all of that. If you want me, I'm here. If you don't want me, I'll see you next year or in a few months or next week. Anyone in a position where you have a core group of friends or all of your friends live close by, if they weren't there for you when you were pregnant, but now they suddenly want you now you've got a baby, I'm sorry. And I know a lot of people are like this because I see a lot of content about it. Like, you only want me now I've got a baby. I'd be like, out. Do you have a routine with your daughter? No, I'm not a routine kind of person. Obviously, every couple of hours she'll have a bottle. Every now and then she'll have a pouch. When I know she's been awake for a couple of hours, I'll try and put her down for a nap. But other than that, no. She does go to bed at the same time-ish every day. So she's normally asleep by around 8 p.m. And so when it gets to about 6 p.m, that's when I'm like, okay, it's wind down hours. All the lights will dim. The noise kind of stops. She either has a bath or we read a story or we have a cuddle, she has a massage or whatever. Like, the chaos of the day, when it gets to about 6 p.m, that tends to like quieten down. Unless we're out. If we're out, then it's different. But yeah, she's normally asleep by the same kind of time. But day to day, we're doing what we're doing. Sorry, I've changed position slightly because she wants to sit on my lap, but I don't really want to like have a full face on screen. So if the frame is off, I'm really sorry. Someone's asked, how do you split responsibilities? I do the bulk of things because I'm on maternity leave, kind of just as and when. I do when I need him, I ask for him, and vice versa. My priority is being Athena's like main caregiver at the minute whilst Faisal's so busy. It's basically me that just dictates everything, to be honest, but I want Feisal to feel like he can do whatever he needs and wants to do work-wise. When I need a break, I'll ask for it. Other than that, yeah. I mean, Athena's really lucky because he works from home a lot. So at the minute, like, if it's lunchtime and I just need 10 minutes to make some food, and she can go and chill with him. So that's really nice. I feel like I've been filming for like ages now. I'm gonna stop here because I think my food shop has arrived and I feel like I've been talking for absolutely ages. I know these questions were like mainly like parent related, so I'm really sorry if that's like something that you're not interested in. I'm sure I'll do a Q&A in the next couple of months where maybe I'll answer some like, I don't know, juicier questions. Thank you so much for watching. Really, really hope you have a magical day, evening, week, month, or year. I will see you in the next video. Lots of love. Take care. Bye, guys.